Welcome. This is Marnie from womenspeakers.com. Excited to have you with us here for this next Facebook Live interview that we're doing with our featured speaker, Jean Abbott. Welcome to you, Jean.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's such an honor to be a part of this today.
Well, exciting to have you here all the way from Minnesota. Welcome. And you guys have had terribly cold weather.
And a lot of snow. I didn't know if I was going to get to my last two speaking engagements. There was so much
no,
snow.
Right. I know the last time I spoke up there, they had it all set up so if it was snowy that we could do it remote. You have to think about these things in northern weather. Awesome. Well, I'm excited to pick your brain about some of your aha moments, and I want to just dive right into that. And so your first one is be positive, be strong, be you.
Yes. So I always say, be positive. God has given us so many blessings each and every day. And with life being so hectic, it's easy to get caught up in those stressful moments. But it's important that we focus on all the blessings He has given us. And then my be strong. We have to trust God with what He's given us, because He does have a plan for each and every one of us. So, being strong and trusting in what He's saying. And then, of course, being you. I truly believe that God has made each and every one of us unique, and we need to embrace the gifts that He has given us. And so we can go out and be just who He has intended us to be.
My famous saying is, when God strung together your 3 billion base pair of DNA, He did it in a particular way. Yes. And you're the only you. You're the only you the world will ever know. And it is critically important that you walk out fully into what God has called you to be. And we're going to share a little bit more of your life story in just a minute, how God has taken you through some stuff, and your story is so amazing. And I know you said that it's been shared on a lot of venues, Today's Show and different things like that, because of the profound impact of it. And I always say with a tough story that it's terrible to live, but the story is great afterwards.
Yes, it was. It was very challenging. But again, I just feel so strongly that this is what God's plan was for me all along. So
the unique you path that He put you on so that you could be His emissary now, His ambassador and His messenger now. Okay, let me introduce the next one.
Yes.
When we face our fears, we discover our passions.
Yes. So I am not good with change. That is the truth about me. But I find that so many times God gives us opportunities, and oftentimes they seem so scary. But in trying those new things, like for me, public speaking, I was always petrified to get up in front of a group of people. But after receiving my correct diagnosis and this life change, people were asking me to get up and share my story with others. And I eagerly said yes. And then I was thinking, what did I get myself into? But as soon as I got on the stage and I was able to share my story with others and give people hope, and seeing the impact I could make on the world and in people's lives, I discovered that I actually love public speaking. And if I wouldn't have faced that fear, I would have never discovered my passion. And, sometimes we'll find things that we face our fears and we're like, yeah, I don't really like it, but that's okay. But it's, if you don't try, how will you ever know? How will you ever know?
Yep.
So I think it's really important, so.
I love that. I love that. We face our fears, we discover our passions. That's great. And this last one, I want to dive into it a little bit deeper with your story. Your quote is, miracles happen. It's such a short 2-word quote, but believing it with your whole heart changes everything. So give us some of your story.
So I went 33 years thinking that I had a form of cerebral palsy. So I had really tight spastic muscles that made everyday challenges difficult, from holding a pencil to do my homework at night to being able to walk. By the time I was 18, I was using a mobility scooter. Now, I had really accepted God's plan for me, and I just thought it was so I could show the world that you can be positive and happy despite whatever challenges you're facing, because we all face challenges at some point or the other. So I had accepted that and I had embraced it. But I never in a million years expected that I would receive a new diagnosis with new medication And the crazy thing is I received my new diagnosis of dopa responsive dystonia on Good Friday. Started taking that medication on Good Friday. And on Easter Sunday, I was standing for the first time independently in about a decade.
Wow.
And I've never experienced such a connection with Jesus as I did in that moment, standing outside in the church parking lot for the first, it was just amazing. And, it's so cliche that they say, you never know what tomorrow will bring, but it's
Right.
true. I didn't expect that this is what I would be doing,
Right.
God blessed me in such an amazing way. And I truly, miracles can happen, which is why it's so critical that we not ever give up hope and do everything that we can to keep a positive attitude during those challenging situations.
Yeah. Did you experience after I'm going to call it a healing, because even though technically like it wasn't, but it kind of, I'm sure felt kind of like it was,
Yeah.
After you experienced this re-diagnosis and you were able to walk, you were able to do these things that you couldn't do for basically, your whole life. Did you experience any time period where you felt like you were angry at God? Like, why did you wait so long or anything like that?
No,
Wow.
that's the funny thing. I never once felt angry or bitter. And I think part of that is because, like I said, I had accepted the life that God had given me, because God doesn't make mistakes. Like I said, he creates that each of us is unique, so we can do specific things in our life. And I wasn't angry or bitter because I never expected to be able to do those things. So when I received that correct diagnosis, my husband and I just saw everything as a gift. All these things that I was now able to do were a gift. And if I spent my time bitter and angry, which everyone would understood if I was bitter and angry, but if I spent that time focusing on everything I missed out on in life, that I really wouldn't be able to take the time to appreciate all the gifts that God has given me every single day. And so that's kind of the attitude I took towards it. So, and I find that going 33 years misdiagnosed, it gave me, the media was then interested in hearing my story.
Right.
And had I not gone that long misdiagnosed, I've been able to help give over 20 people a correct diagnosis.
Wow.
And change their lives. And that is a gift that I really feel God has given me.
Yeah.
It's an amazing feeling to be able to help people in such a profound way. And it's God, it's all God,
Yeah.
So
yeah. So cool. So cool.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've been thinking about, it's a phrase that I adopted, and then it's one of the aha moments from one of the other people I've interviewed recently, and I've been trying to incubate it. So faith is looking at a problem as if it wasn't a problem.
Yes.
And I actually really love that. And I was kind of, incubating it. It's like, okay, it's not like the kind of looking at the problem as if it doesn't exist, because it does exist. But it's that looking at the problem where I say, I see the problem, I see God, I choose God, I give the problem to God, and then I say, what do you want me to do? Because now God has a big problem.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
God has a big problem. It is a problem, but it isn't all the weight of that whole thing isn't on my shoulders. Maybe respond to this a moment.
Well, so it kind of makes me think of two things that I share quite often in my presentations. One, I think when we go through challenging situations, and like I said, we all have challenging situations. No one gets off scot-free.
Right.
I often think that during those really stressful times that we're going through, that it's actually preparing us for something much bigger. And I think things always just turn out just as they're supposed to be. But then the other thing of, you saying, being stressed out, and it's easy to kind of think about what's not going right in this situation. So I say, when you're in a really stressful situation, really take time and stop and think about what is going right in the situation. Like, you might be dealing with a really challenging time, but are your support systems stepping in and helping you and supporting you? People from your church or your neighbors or your friends, because then to be able to stop and focus on, wow, I have a lot of gifts, even though I'm going through this challenging situation. Like, we have to stop and focus on the positive instead of the negative, and it'll make it so much easier to get through that challenging time. And then, of course,
Absolutely.
talking to God about it, and
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Have faith in God. Have faith in God.
Yes.
I love it. Well, I love you. I love your ministry. I love what God has done and is doing through your life. Thank you for just being a willing flow through vessel for his grace and his love to so many. And you guys want to be sure to check out Jean's ministry. You can find her over at womenspeakers.com or at jeanabbott.com. And she has a wonderful book out about this called Misdiagnosed that you can learn more about at her website or at Amazon or wherever. So Jean, thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks so much, Marnie. It was great chatting with you, and have a good Valentine's Day.
Thank you so much. And you guys have a great day. See you soon.